Welcome to My Roman Empire, the podcast where a special guest tells us about the pop culture moment that lives in their mind rent-free, i.e., their Roman Empire.
Wow.
We are your awkward broads, your Roman emperors.
I'm Linus Carp.
And I'm Joseph Martin.
Hello.
And today's guest is a drag queen who's performed many times on the West End, a radio host, has performed internationally, and, of course, whose role as Michelle Obama had the audience saying, "What the fuck?" She's a menace to society and our favourite chaotic bitch. Please welcome Yshee Black!
Oh, hello, divas. Hello.
Darling.
Hello. It's so nice to see you.
You too, my angel.
You fill every room you're in with such positive energy that it's
It's queer joy all the way.
Exactly.
I'm all about it.
Also, not just queer joy, but Midlands joy.
Oh, God, Midlands
And I mean
joy.
that in a very complimentary way.
No, thank you.
As a fellow Midlands boy.
Yeah, babes, I love the Midlands. I've always repped for the Midlands. I feel like everyone knows me from there and still thinks I live there because I go back. It's such a London thing that everyone's like, "Oh, did you come down from Birmingham?"
come down.
No, I live here. Oh, you always go back up. I go, yes, because I have
There's a
friends
fast
there.
train, babe.
And there's a community there, so
Yeah.
why wouldn't I go
What is it,
back
like an
home?
hour out of Euston
yeah,
on the fast train?
literally.
Yeah, that leads me nicely into the first question. So our first question for the former guest of this parish, Kate Butch.
Have you heard of her before?
I've never heard of her
she's a
before.
bit up and coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay,
I think
she's
she's
a
going to
new
have a- I think
artist.
She
She's
might
had a
get her
busy
chance
year.
one day.
Right,
Yeah.
God, okay.
So we
We
asked
like
her,
giving up and coming artists
I'll
a
look
chance.
out for her.
Yeah.
Dude,
I'll
give her
follow
a
her on
Google.
Instagram.
She released a lovely album in the 70s. So we asked her the same question for Buxton, where she's from. We're going to ask you the first question, which is Birmingham. Please explain.
Birmingham is the second city in the UK, and yet it's very controversial, that isn't it? But it is the second city. It is technically the second city with this population, but everyone thinks it's like Manchester, and everyone thinks that Birmingham, because it was very industrial, that it's a bit of a, it's a bit crap.
It's not Coventry.
No, see, exactly.
Shout out Coventry.
But because Coventry's around it,
Yeah.
that's what you get a hard reputation.
Yeah.
But Birmingham, for its sins, is great. And the scene there is amazing. We're sort of like the wild child. Because London has its own little scene. Manchester has its own identity. So does Leeds, Glasgow, Scotland. But Birmingham, because everyone else doesn't care about it, it means we can do what we want.
Yeah.
And so we can actually go balls to the wall and just do whatever we like. And I think that's where the term bastard drag sort of comes from, because we just go, I don't care. We'll just do what we want because we're our own, community in our own space.
This was one of the things we wanted to ask.
Yeah,
right?
because we feel like the vibe is so specific with the Birmingham Queens, or drag performers, people like yourself, like Don Juan, like Fat Butcher. I mean, all
Yeah.
who love.
Lemon, Miss Sunday.
Yeah.
There's so many,
Amazing
it's
acts, yeah.
that bastard drag.
Yeah, it's chaos. And I think because we all came up together at the same time, there wasn't really a standard outside of the usual singing queens like Miss Penny or a Miss Marty who just do the cabaret scene. We were doing alternative, craziness drag. And there were no rules to it. So we were all just trying to work out. And 15 queer people trying to work out drag at the same time in this little scene, it's going to be chaos. That's where, where I gave Ginny Lemon her first gig. Do you know what I mean? And so you can imagine the chaos of Ginny being unbridled and just being wild.
For the first time.
Yeah, for the first time. You're like, what is going on?
So with all of that in mind and that creation process, who is Yshee?
Oh, well, Yshee Black is just a big, massive extension of me, James. But she started off as church lady. And I used to take my mom's church outfits out of her closet, go to the clubs and get in drag and do my show, a drag competition, the Church of Yshee. I used to host it in my mom's church outfits, tambourine and all.
I fucking love that.
Hat, everything. And we just did that every Sunday. And it just got bigger and bigger. But yeah, I think Yshee is sort of evolved and changed. But it started as just paying homage to Black women. You know what I mean? Like my mom and my aunties, and just having a good time. And also I like to infuse a lot of joy in my shows and when I'm around, because I think that's important. I think me having a good time and making sure every other person is having a good time. And I think that comes from the Birmingham scene. I think I grew up with loads of queer friends, which is very rare. So like when I started going out, there's a group of us of like 15 queer friends who are all just partying, and we talk to each other every day, and we go out and we go to each other's houses and we sleep over. That's very rare to have.
As I said,
especially,
You make me want to move to Birmingham.
I think community of friends in a city like that is quite hard to come by.
Yeah.
I think that also
Especially
speaks to
a queer community.
Yeah.
like
I think
queer
that
friends.
speaks to being outside of London.
Yeah.
Big times. Like, obviously, we all love London, we all live here, blah, 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 blah. But, like, I grew up in Northamptonshire, not far away at all from Birmingham. And, like, I used to go to Birmingham all the time as a teenager for gigs. That was, like, we'd all get on the train at, like Rugby or Northampton, and we would go straight up to New Street, run to a gig, get the train back, come back. Like, Birmingham was such, like, a special place. And that was before I was, like, sort of, like, fully queer and like into the drag scene and all that kind of stuff. So I was going there for like mainly screamo bands, playing at the HMV Institute and the O2 Academy, which then became, I think, the library or the library before that. Or something
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Birmingham was actually the reason we started touring, which is now what we do all the time.
So I thought you were going to say the reason we started dating.
Yeah.
I was like, that's categorically not true.
Maybe.
It's demonstrably false.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, so
like
it is.
it was All Joint Stock, which is a wonderful venue.
Shout
there.
out
They-
All Joint Stock.
Yeah.
Shout out All Joint Stock.
They got in
my
touch
God.
and they were
Excellent
like,
Fringe
when we
Theatre
did
venue.
our first show, they were like, do you want to bring this to Birmingham? And I'd never thought about taking our shows. I mean, we're taking it to Edinburgh, but otherwise we just performed in London. I never even thought about like the possibility of taking it to other cities. And I was like, oh, that sounds fun. And like, if we're doing this, we might as well, go to loads of
Tour the
other
whole
places.
fucking country.
You might as well.
It's such a leanest thing where it's like, one venue outside London is that's where I want to go.
So
I'm going to build a tour.
Yeah, let's make it 10.
Sure, Jan.
might as well make it worth it.
And so when did
Exactly.
when did you make the move down to London?
So I moved in 2021, so basically just after the pandemic. So I was working at like the Birmingham Hippodrome when the pandemic hit. And I was sort of like, I'll just, just do gigs. And this was it. Well, to be fair, in 2020, it was crazy, but also BLM was a thing. So there's lots of white guilt going around.
Yeah.
And because there was lots of white guilt,
Capitalize, baby.
I was getting lots and lots of work. So I was
Love that
working
for
a
you.
lot. So it got to a point where I was like, oh, actually, I think I can sustain myself with that. So I just literally messaged around and I was like, oh, can I work here or is there anything for me with like Tuck Shop?
Oh, yeah.
And then I was also doing the Capital Buzz, Pop Buzz interviews, drag race interviews with the drag race girls. So I had those two things, and I was also still doing my church of Yshee every Sunday in 2021. So I thought, I've got a few incomes coming in the week. I can actually live and survive. So I thought, might as well come on down, let's do it. And I just jumped in. And then with London being London, once people know that you're there, then other things start popping up. So so when I moved, it was quite a lot from doing drag like once a week, really in my scene, to like Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. I was like, hello.
I mean, that is so cunt to come out of. I think you might be the only person in the world that came out of COVID fully employed as a freelancer. What the fuck?
I thought you were going to say, you're the only person who came from Birmingham and from Sweden.
That is cunt.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. It was a lot, and I took advantage of that because I was like, if I'm gonna do it, then let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's be big.
I know you've said about your name, Yshee Black. One of the reasons you love it as well is because it makes white people uncomfortable.
Oh God,
Yes.
love it. But also, it makes people go. They don't get that I'm saying my name because they'll go, "Oh, what's your name?" And I go, "Yshee Black?" And I go, no, it doesn't matter if you're black. What's your name? That's what they say. I go, no, my name is Yshee Black. First name Yshee, last name Black.
Which I also think is one of my favourite drag names of all time.
But it's so good. It's so funny.
Good. Yeah.
It's very memorable. And it's like your identity. It's political.
Yeah.
It's like it encapsulates so many great things.
And it's also stupid.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
really
It's
fun.
really stupid. And I think
So
that's
are you
great.
calling black people stupid?
Wow.
I've already said I have the most white
What
guilt.
guilt, yeah.
Where do you want me to go with this? I'm not going to win.
Yeah, it was great. I felt like I always wanted a stupid name and I always wanted a comedy name. I think it's very British to have that.
Yep.
So yeah, and I always used to ask my mum why all the time when I was a kid. So I was like, why this, why that, why that? So I was like, why is she? And I tell you, I looked at my hand, I walked outside and I went, black. I literally, that's why I was like, why is she black? That was it. And I went, yeah, great. There we go. Let's go.
That's hysterical.
It was honestly wild. And then just decided to steal my mom's church outfit
Great.
for an outfit.
I love
How
that.
old were you when you first tried drag?
How old was I? Oh, Jesus Christ, what, 2016? So I was probably like 25, but I didn't take it seriously at all. And
Do you take it seriously now?
No. It pays my bills, so no. Being in Birmingham, it was very that. We didn't take it that seriously. I was getting paid. We were getting paid with bottles of vodka behind the DJ booth. Like that was it. And we were having a good time. And also because my friends were heavily involved. Like my friend worked at in the offices in the nightclub.
Right.
So we put on events. So we put on loads of different events and fun events for the queer community. So it just felt really chill. It didn't feel like we were working. It just felt like we putting on an event and we're going to make sure everyone turns up and everyone has fun. And
also you have an actual a proper gay district in Birmingham. I mean, I know it's struggling. I know we're seeing more and more venues close down, but I feel like it's different to London in that respect because London has a lot of queer venues, but they're all spread out all over the place, right? But I think Birmingham and Manchester, places like that have the district you go to as a queer person. Is great. And that helps those kind of events succeed even more. Because you're like, oh, where are we going to go? We're going to go to the same place we always go.
We're going to go
to this district and we can hit every venue we want.
Community.
Yeah, exactly. And you also don't have to decide. You can look at the street and be like, okay, this has the most vibe or this has the best performance right now or whatever.
You'd go around or you'd see what's happening or you go, oh, I'll go see a show here with my friends here and then we're going to go straight over to the village and then we'll see a show there and party, but we'll end up at the end of the night on the top of the road in Missing because that's where the after party is going to be. And everyone on the scene will know it and we'll all go to these places and that will be the night.
Yes. So we didn't get a proper chance to do it the last time we were in Birmingham.
We did a little bit, but
we went to, I don't remember
late.
the name of the venue that we went to. It was nice. We just went and had a little drink. We were performing.
No, you need to.
We were at the Hippodrome. We were in Patrick's studio.
Yeah, love.
Shout out Patrick's studio.
Yeah, shout out Patrick's studio, Hippodrome. Love you all. Thank you for keeping me employed over COVID.
Big fan.
And then I left you. And then I left.
We had a hysterical Halloween show, Gwyneth, there.
Oh, we did actually. So we performed
people
over
came
Halloween.
in costume, weirdly. Not as us, but obviously because they were going to parties afterwards or whatever. There's an excellent scene in the middle of Gwyneth where, excellent scene, we fucking wrote it. There's an excellent scene. There is a scene with an excellent moment in Gwyneth where we're sat in the audience doing this scene. And she's referencing every film she's ever been in.
Including the Marvel films that she's been in, which famously she's not really aware of.
And someone had brought a Captain America shield as part of their costume in the audience. And I genuinely thought our team had planned it or something.
Because it was just
grabs it and holds it up in the middle of this fucking speech.
As I'm talking about the Marvel films, I'm like, how come I have a Marvel
everyone was just a bit bemused as to what was going on.
What was happening? Yeah. I mean, isn't that everyone with one of your shows? You know what I mean?
The fuck is going on? Yeah, us too, most of the time.
But I mean, Birmingham, Birmingham, Joe Lycett.
Yes.
How did you end up being on Late Night Lycett?
Oh God, Joe, I love Joe. Shout out to Joe Lycett.
Shout out Joe Lycett.
Oh, mummy. So basically,
friend of the pod, I assume.
Probably.
Yeah,
we know you're listening.
Avid listener.
Hey, Joe loves it. So what happened was, because I'd been doing my drag competitions, the Church of Yshee, every year it just got a bit more bigger. And one year, somebody told me that Joe Lycett was in at the event. So I was like, oh, Joe Lycett's here. But I was just I've got 10, 12 contestants to deal with. I'm trying to juggle everything. I was like, oh, okay. And then I decided for the next year, I was just going to go, oh, Joe, I just messed up. Would you like to be a judge at the finale? We don't have much money, but would you like? And Joe was like, yeah, fine. I'll do it for free. That's amazing. And ever since then, Joe just comes and supports all of the queer art that happens. So Joe on a random Sunday would come to my show and it would be Yshee Big Bastard show. And basically it's where the worse you are, the better you do in the competition. So the more stupid you are, that's how you get through.
Least you should enter.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, you'd win.
Thank you.
And Joe would just be out and he'd be like, oh yeah, can I come? I went, yeah, come on, judge. And he'd take part in it and he'd be a real champion for the artists and also putting together this event in King's Heath called Queen's Heath and having loads of performers and celebrating queer art on a local level. I think that's what he wanted to do with Late Night Lycett, have it in the centre of Birmingham with Birmingham artists around or with people who do make contributions to the scene as a whole. And I think that was really well thought out, really well done. Like me and Don getting to do backstage stuff, getting to be there for 2 seasons. It was crazy. Like live TV on a Friday night.
It looked like
with
so
celebs.
much fun.
It was so much fun. And to see Joe in his element and also see all of the talk show stuff. And some of the celebs were a bit crazy as they were, but me being involved in like little bits as well was great. And seeing people on the team, I just thought it was a really great experience and one that like I'm so proud to have done.
Yeah.
And also known Joe as a friend now, I'm like, this is so lovely. And he's just always so lovely. And he support. I had a gig in a wrestling arena in a pub.
What?
Of course it did.
Of course I did. I was doing camp tunes in a wrestling ring. I was doing the Spice Girls in a wrestling ring. And Joe just turns up and was like, oh yeah, it's a what? I went, it's just madness.
Great.
Oh, that's
diva.
so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
What an icon. Like, he just seems so smart and so aware and so, like, great political and so funny.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like a really great guest for the podcast.
Exactly.
Right? Now, wouldn't that be super
Absolutely.
fun? Like, wouldn't that be?
Absolutely.
We know you're listening, Joe.
Yeah, Joe, hey.
You haven't got anything else going on right now.
Yeah.
Get on it.
Yshee Black says, get in now.
I mean, having done so many, like now at this point, multiple West End shows, you know, TV, worked with so many amazing people. What, like, do you have any, like, what are your biggest sort of like drag pinch me moment where you're like, I can't believe we actually did that?
Good question.
Oh, that's a really good question.
Should have given that to you in advance.
I know, yeah. Yes, you should have done.
Yeah.
No, that's a really good question because I think sometimes, because I'm in it so much, I just forget that like what I've done. I think having the late night live sit being live on Channel 4 and being a part of that experience, looking back, was a very special thing.
Yeah.
But also I really enjoyed the fact that like Capital Buzz or Pop Buzz really took me on because I just sort of, I'd asked my friend a year before, oh, I really want to do more. So I was putting myself out there. And then a year later, they came back all like, oh yeah, do you still want to do something? And from that, I was able to do like 5 strong years of interviewing loads of not only drag artists, but sort of like I did the cast of Black Panther when that came out. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
You know? And so I think that birthing from me just going, all right, I want to do something, I want to do more, and emailing and sort of like putting myself out there because no one else is going to do it for you. You're going to have to do it for yourself. Yeah. So yeah, maybe like the Black Panther thing was a very big one for me.
I think probably I'm going to tell you which one should be. No, probably a close second, I would imagine, would be being on stage at the Clapham Grand doing a lightsaber battle with the unknown from Wonka's Chocolate Experience, friend of this parish, Felicia Dawkins,
Queen,
also on this season of the podcast, which was one of the most unhinged moments of my. I mean, that day generally was very unhinged, but watching you rehearse your number dressed as the unknown, doing Bring Me to Life mashed up with Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, with you just running around the Clapham stage with a mirror.
With this large mirror.
And then you lip syncing wearing a mask.
I was lip syncing wearing a mask, no one can see my face.
Doing a lightsaber fight with the unknown, her beating you, and you lying dead on stage for the next 10 minutes while we interviewed her.
Like, it was so funny. And also, like, out of all the shows we've done, there's nothing that's been like more photographed or videoed and like posted on social media than that lightsaber fight.
Yes.
So good.
Listen, you love to spring things on people. It's like you have your idea and then you go, yeah, great, we've got the idea. And maybe we should tell something. No. So I walk into the venue, I'm like, okay, hi, I meet everyone. And then you're like, so you're going to do a lightsaber duel. And this is a choreographer. And here's a lightsaber. So if you just rehearse that for about 10 minutes, and then you'll do it live on stage.
And was it cunty? Yes, it was.
And it was.
And I've still got the mask. Damn it, I should have brought you the mask. I've still got the mask somewhere upstairs.
No, I'm glad you still have it.
Yes. Obviously, we've got everything from that show. We've got a full chemistry set in the loft. We've got a gazebo. We've got like everything.
At that point, we knew you because we'd done a fundraiser that you were part of as well before. So we're like, we knew you're fun. We knew you're great. Like, if there's one person to do this, it will be Yshee.
How did you two actually meet?
Well, I don't think this wasn't a meeting per se. Well, I mean, it was, but I doubt you'll remember it.
No.
Fuck no, I set you up there. It wasn't even that.
No, because you're wrong. But I went to see the final of the drag idol, the competition. There was the two brewers, and it was when Fat Butcher won.
Yes.
And I believe you were there to support Fat Butcher. You were there screaming along. And obviously, like, I knew you were. I followed you on socials or whatever. Like, I was like, that is Yshee Black. And you were stood dancing behind me, kept bumping into me.
Very
I apologized. I was like, well, you're allowed to do anything you want. We then did a crowdfund together with a Clap and Grand together.
Yeah.
And most recently, and most importantly, one might say, you were asked to perform digitally in our latest show, The Fit Prince. How did it feel when you were asked, and who were you asked to play?
Listen, I know you're all crazy. So you know what? I wasn't thinking about how grand this was going to be, right? I know you asked me to film, so it's like, listen, Michelle, I went, the wig's a bit meh, but you know what? I've got a suit that's very manly. And so this is what's going to have to happen.
Yep.
You're going to have to take it.
And you had moved the day before.
Yeah. So yes, I'd move, and then I was like downstairs, still all bits around. Don't tell my flatmates, like, don't worry, I'm just filming something. And they're like, who is this crazy person
Who's this diva who thinks she's Michelle Obama?
Yeah, and then I'm sure all they can hear from me is, when they go low, you go high. When you go high, all this variations. And then it really clicked when you started touring it. And then I went, and people messaging me and be like, I've just seen you in this show. And I went, oh yes, I did feel something ridiculous. And yes, it is going around the nation now.
No, but it's so funny. When you create a show, it's like you don't really know what's going to work, what's not going to work. And I was quite worried about this scene with like the world leaders. We have, you know, Jerry Allen playing the Queen of England. We've got Kate Bush playing Angela Merkel, and you as Michelle Obama. And I'm like, is this like, will this feel like too weird and too dated and too out of place? But it really kills every time. And you coming on and your first appearance as Michelle Obama brings the house down.
Even it can be the lamest audience in the world. No offense, but it can be the lamest audience in the world, like the quietest, or like we're just being really shit. And then you show up, may I come in? And everyone goes, what the fuck?
It's that. Wow. Okay.
Shit, but actually, my favorite bit of the entire show is during the Christmas one that we did last year at the King's Head. We do like a credits sequence, which we got you to record. So it's everyone as they're leaving, everyone's going, bye, thanks for coming, blah 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 blah. And we never had time to like fully mix it because we're like, we just got to fucking do the show. Yeah. So everyone's like relatively normal volume, being like, oh, thank you for coming to my show, blah blah blah. And then halfway through, you come in at 10 times the volume, obviously, which then, without fail, makes the whole audience shit themselves. Because then it's just you coming in going, bye! I'm Michelle Obama! Come on, Barack! Let's go! And it is so good.
It's just, I think you led me to that point. By that time, I was like, this is it.
It was perfect.
And everyone was so great in like all the little the ad bits, and also you were great as well. Also,
and you appeared on stage. You played one of bars.
Yeah, and it was so funny. When you saw the show in London, you actually got to experience your own greatness and be part of the show. You and Bixby Polite played in like the band together, which was
I was like, here we go.
So fucking good.
That was like, that's one of my favorite nights ever, because I feel like that was so fun, and like to have you and so many other people who like has helped us both in that show and throughout, like, you know, like our heroes of ours at that show, being part of it was just so ridiculous.
You had the celebs.
Yeah, we did.
You
We
had
had a
what, Tovlo?
Tovlo in the videos, yes. Lovely Sebastian Croft has also appeared on the night as well. Jocelyn Lighthouse from Netflix's Night Before Christmas. There were so many fucking people. It was wild. And you.
And Yshee Black. Like,
yes. Now, obviously, the reason you are on this podcast is to talk about your Roman Empire. That's the point. So we've chatted enough shit. What I would love is if you, as all the guests do, if you could say, hello, my name is, say your name, and my Roman Empire is, and then what it is, and we'll dive in.
Hello, my name is Yshee Black, and my Roman Empire is flashmobs.
Yay!
Flashmobs. I love them.
Why?
I love them because they are so gay. They are so in your face, and it's so crazy because there was this phase where people at a time were doing flash mobs, and I like the craze of like people doing groups like dances, or remember when people used to freeze and the camera would pan round and stuff like that. I love those big collective things because they just seem so much fun. It brings people together. And also, it's a great spectacle. I feel when we lost flash mobs, we went downhill a bit.
Sure, I think you're probably right.
I think
I
we
think
did.
that times well with the
Collectively.
decline of the
Just
world.
for you, we're going to bring it back.
100
people.
Well, see, if this wasn't visualized, this would be the perfect time because no one on audio would know we were live.
Well, let's ignore it. We'll just be like, oh, wow.
Oh, wasn't that
great.
amazing? Oh, wow.
We lost the footage, but yeah.
I can't believe they all left so quickly. Bringing this as your Roman Empire, I had completely forgotten that flash mobs were a thing, and it feels that very like turn of the 2010s kind of time.
Yeah, it's very generational.
Can you guess when the first flash mob and when that actually like made the expression flash mob become invented?
Oh.
Can you guess when that happened?
Was it like 2009?
It was earlier.
Earlier.
It was 2003.
2003.
Which seemed very early for it, actually.
So really early.
It was an event took place in Manhattan. A man called Bill Wasick, who is a journalist, he got loads of people. The first attempt actually failed because there were too many people gathering, and I think they dispersed them or something. But the second one succeeded, which was at Macy's, the department store, and they got loads of people. I think there was over 130 people coming to gather around a rug and look at buying a rug. They say they were all in like a collective and they were doing it together, which I mean,
it's a pretty
and then when that was
exactly
sorry, and when that was written
shit.
about, that was called a flash mob.
Yeah.
And he said he created flash mobs as a social experiment designed to poke fun at hippies and to highlight the cultural atmosphere of conformity and wanting to be an insider or part of the next big thing.
That's
What is that?
And then this happened like a few events followed, like people gathered quite like in quick succession after, but at this point, like, you know, they were very basic. They weren't like, you know, choreography or singing as we know them now. Like one was just loads of people gathering, and another one was like loads of people clapping together for like a certain amount of time.
I feel like T-Mobile was like the first time I remember flash mobs being a thing. T-Mobile doing an advert in the UK, and that was about 2009, 2010, where they did one at Heathrow Airport, which was a medley of songs.
That was 2010, but before then, there was the Liverpool Street Station flash mob in 2009, which I believe was just a flash mob first, and then T-Mobile made it an ad after. So they,
interesting.
They'd see it and go like,
yeah,
we're having that.
We're having that,
Yeah. And also, it reminded me when you chose this that actually the my home county of Northamptonshire, Northampton had, I think, I've got no way of really verifying this, but I think the largest or one of the largest flash mob Facebook groups in the country. And I checked it today, and there were 2.9 thousand people in that group.
that many? Yeah.
Well, I think it's pretty decent for a town where no one really famously did anything.
But people always join.
But they did loads. They had like they had the one all over the world that was a pillow fight. They did a routine to Thriller that was quite big at the time. They did a couple of other ones as well. And that was kind of it was nice because that was a time where Northampton actually seemed to put in effort and its community, and they all turned up and did all this stuff. They did it for like, there was a busker who performed in the town for years and years and years and years and years, and they secretly organized this massive flash mob him. And like the thing I liked about them was that, by definition of the flash mob, is that it's there, it happens, and everyone disperses again. And that's super fun.
Yeah.
Because looking at it when there's some like when it's too like professionally organized, you're like, this is not really a flash mob. This is like, you know,
a dance performance.
Exactly.
It's like,
and I feel like if it happened now, in the same vein as like choreographed routines going up the aisle at someone's wedding that was filmed, that kind of same era, I feel like if I was witness to a flash mob now, I'd be like, this is a bit cringe. Actually, something about the time, it feels very unique to that time period. We watched quite a few of them in prep today, didn't we?
Yeah, like some of the more famous ones. There was one where 207 people froze, stood entirely still for 5 minutes at Grand Central Station in New York. There was a 1,000-strong orchestra, 1,000 people strong orchestra that was playing in Berlin in a shopping center there. Again, this is the one where, like, is that really a flash mob? But
you've brought an orchestra, like carrying their instruments. The point is that you're not, as the public, you're not supposed to know who's about to join in. But you're like, oh, well, he's carrying euphonium.
And
he's going to be
like
in
20 people with instruments coming together. You go, something's weird happening here.
There's one with Black Eyed Peas perform at Opera. They perform in Chicago on like a massive stage with a big audience. And Opera doesn't know, but the people start at first the audience are just standing still, and then section by section until the entire audience are like dancing in the same routine. So that's pretty fun.
But I would argue that that's
exactly.
not a flash mob. That's just a choreographed routine with your
with
audience.
a lot of
because
dancers.
They're there to watch the Black Eyed Peas perform.
Oh, okay.
Do you know what I mean? It's
You're
not
right,
like people are walking past and suddenly they're getting like.
It's not you going to do your little shop and then all of a sudden you're in the middle of this.
Oh, you know, for routine. Yeah, no, they're all there
And
to watch the Black Eyed Peas.
As far as we can find, the biggest flash mob, how many people do you think was in that? It was in Mexico City.
Oh, God,
They
loads.
held the Guinness World Record, and as far as I can tell, that's still the most one.
Maybe about 2,000?
According to the article I read, 14,000.
14,000!
Which is wild.
That's
Which again, does it
crazy.
cease to be a true flash mob?
Which is
Oh,
like,
I suppose like
But
it's
how
turn up, do a thing,
yeah,
leave.
but how do you get that size of people?
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
It can't
it's
be one
easy.
person,
We
it
can,
must be
if
like
we were to tell our
group.
listeners right now to start a flash mob, it'd be like,
All
come on,
14,000
everyone out, go
people.
into Birmingham outside the Hippodrome and
Yeah.
start. Now, there will be, well, I think we'll break their record. It would at least be like, you know,
yeah.
3-4 people there.
Especially because people could
Not
be listening.
listeners, but they
Yeah.
just happen to be there.
People could be listening to this at literally any point.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
what the world's longest continuous flash mob.
Flash mob that happens.
People just show up.
Yeah.
I'm sure that
Yeah.
will really go well.
But the Hippodrome would be sick of it. But you know what? we would live.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite flash mob?
You know, yeah, well, I think not in person. I do like the Modern Family flash mob because I feel like it was televised.
Yes.
And I just love that whole series in general.
Nothing matters unless it's on TV, right? That's-
Nothing matters unless that camera's rolling.
Yeah.
So true. Shout out Modern
but
Family.
Yeah, it's just I think that the essence of like having a like a community thing, doing something and then going in a really weird setting is really appealing and really fun. And I think it's, for me, really, really gay.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy the loudness of it, and then it just oh, no, we're all right now.
Yeah.
But it leaves people going, what the fuck
It's
just
camp, innit?
happened?
Yeah.
That's a bit camp to me. I think that's why I love it so much, because I've never really seen it or been part of one.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it always seems amazing
Seems
and always joyous. So,
Yeah.
like, yeah. I'd love
As someone
to.
who loves flash mobs, one thing that was, I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about you. Yeah.
What?
I don't know how I feel about them, but anyway, as someone who loves them, Yshee, one thing that was quite popular at the time, or used to go viral quite often, was the flash mob proposals.
Okay.
Where, you know,
right.
like a guy was often, usually a guy,
Yeah.
would propose and, you know, bring in like, you know, various dancers, a
Yeah.
band,
Yeah.
maybe family, like, and they all were doing things.
Yeah.
Is that a way, if you had a relationship, is that how you'd like to be proposed to?
Also, Savage, if you had a relationship.
It's a
If you
big
have
if.
somebody who loves you, would you like it?
You can.
Well, you know, that's a hard one. Maybe at the time where it was at its like sort of height, and I maybe would have been like, yeah, that's great.
But now it's not cool anymore. So now it had to be like more
well,
current.
It's
So
not,
like,
cool. I think I'm a bit older, so maybe I would like something a bit different. But then again, I am dramatic. So
Yeah.
maybe I would like both.
Yeah.
I'd like a quiet proposal, also a nice meal, and then maybe for the cameras
Yeah.
and
Yes.
my friends,
I mean-
organize something, but surprise me.
Yeah.
But you've already done it. But then now I know you can do it because of all these
yeah,
dancers.
I don't
that's kind
think
of like
I've-
we did with our weddings.
Well, yes. Yeah, so, well, actually, yeah.
Yeah, we've done it, bitch.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever actually admitted this to you. I think this is one of the cringiest things that I've
Oh,
ever.
You were part of a
my
flash
God.
mob.
No, but it's genuinely mortifying to me now because I was ever so young when we got together.
So
I was
young.
about 19. And I used to.
And I still am.
A daydream. That's problematic. I love daydreaming a lot and you get carried away with your thoughts and stuff. And I remember thinking in the early days of us being together, if I was to ever propose to you, oh God, I can't even believe
Oh
I've
my
started
God,
saying this.
I
was like,
love
I
this.
want to do a flash mob proposal and I want it to be in Leicester Square and I want it, no, not Leicester Square, Trafalgar Square. And I want it to, I want it to be to Marry You by Bruno Mars.
Oh, no.
Isn't that horrifically straight of me?
Oh, that is so straight.
That is
Yeah.
so funny.
And I've never said anything
Wow.
because
I would have
I think
broken
you'd have said no. You'd have been
Yeah.
like, no.
This is absolutely.
This is disgusting.
No, but it's also like-
full dancers routine,
Yeah,
everything. I had it all
everything.
planned out in my head.
Wow.
But when you
that's-
do it that way, you have to be so confident that they want to say yes. But
Well,
also,
exactly. And I
you
wasn't
don't
even
have a
I wasn't
choice.
even convinced you were gonna say yes at the time when then it ended up that you asked me to marry you.
Wow.
I'd been thinking about it and gently suggested it to you, and you were like, stop talking about it, it's never gonna happen. Because he was trying to put me off the scent of him proposing. I thought he was gonna break up with me. We went on holiday and I was like, am I more into this than he is? We've been together like 8 years. Oh my God.
It was either or. I was like, should I flip that coin and be like, oh well, propose, I
Flip
guess.
it around,
Yeah.
okay, fine.
I love that you're treating it like a job. Like, should I quit now
Yeah.
and find something new?
The business, the theatre company's going quite well.
Yeah,
I
it's been
guess
quite
maybe
good
we should-
career-wise to continue.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's a good angle. It's a good angle. Sold a lot of
Yeah.
tickets to the wedding.
Exactly, and be like,
Exactly.
But yes,
yeah,
so
it's a
I want-
good
you
PR
almo-
angle, be like, we're a couple.
I was gonna say you almost in my head you almost had a flash mob proposal,
Wow.
Almost.
and that was
Almost.
so early on in our relationship. That
Yeah,
was like
Bruno
maybe 2
Mars
years in.
marry you.
I know.
Hello.
I know.
That's,
Oh, but so if you were to do a flash mob today, if you were to
Yeah.
organize one, what would it be?
I would love to do it at like a pride. So like, you know, like you
Straight
have-
flash mob.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
the straight
The
around.
Jesus signs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
around them all.
Yeah.
Around
Yeah.
them all.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Queerness
Camp.
of that.
Yeah.
That would be Do you know when you're like waiting for the parades? Because I mean, like London Pride Parade is quite so long.
Yeah.
And so I can imagine
Too
people
many gays nowadays.
I can
honestly.
imagine people waiting at like the other end of the line. So imagine if there was just like a little bit of entertainment. So a flash mob just appeared at various points on the route in the audience while they're just waiting for the Pride
kinda
Parade to come
love that.
through. I think that's really cap.
Pride in London.
Yeah.
I know you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Book-
And would it be a
book the
dance?
bitch.
Hello.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
it's going to be done.
Yeah, so what
Yeah.
what would the song be?
It would be
Marry You by Bruno Mars.
it exactly would be Marry You remixed with a bit of ABBA.
Yeah, perfect.
That would be better. I would be like, okay, I'm in.
Throw in a bit of Evanescence, bit of
Yeah,
Frozen,
you
put on a
know.
mask, done.
a bit of different. No, something
Yeah.
camp. It would be the camp tunes in there. But I think that would be fun, and I also think it would be well received with the queer community at Pride, more so than I know. Like you have other days you do it in different places, but I think for adding the joy to all already joyous celebration.
Yeah, do you know what?
would lift it
If I was
up.
at Pride and that happened, that
Yeah.
would probably be one of the few situations I would be like, "This is camp. I
Camp,
love
yeah, like,
this,"
this is
rather than
camp.
like,
Yeah,
"Oh
go in.
God."
On a daily Tuesday, down
Yeah.
the shops. So yeah, that would be my
Yeah,
thing.
maybe it's time to bring him back.
Maybe.
Especially if it came out, it first developed in 2003 was the first one. Like that's
2003.
23 years.
God, Jesus Christ.
Give it 2 years, and then it's 25 years since the first of a flash mob, and you could do it at Pride.
Then we can do it. Yeah, we can do
Yeah.
it at
Yeah, there
Pride.
you go. 2028. Watch this space.
2028. We're coming for you.
Flash mobs. They're
Yeah.
back. They're back.
Yeah.
How stupid. I'm so thrilled that you chose this.
Yeah.
This was so fun.
Yeah, it's the first thing that came to my head, and I went, I should definitely go with it because I'm like, it's there for a reason. And bear in mind, I've not thought of flash mobs for decades.
No, that's it. We
And
haven't thought about it for
when
so
you
long.
said it, I went, actually, I used to love flash
Yeah.
mobs.
I think especially I was like when I was growing at that point where it was kind of a big thing. I was still obviously like living at home in a little village of 500 people or whatever, and the idea that like that many people could bring themselves together and actually make something stupid,
Yeah.
and then as I say, then crucially fuck off.
Yeah.
Lovely. No hanging around being like, oh, wasn't that all great? Oh, we're so good. Is that no gone?
No, you're off.
No talking about afterwards. And speaking of being off,
Off.
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yeah.
We're done.
All right, bye.
Thank you so much for coming on and chatting shit with us. Where can people find you? the
You can
street.
find me on my Instagram page at Yshee Black. That's YSHEE Black, like my skin color. So
If you're white and you're feeling guilt, follow Yshee.
yeah, definitely come around, see the stuff, follow me on Instagram.
Any more Church of Yshee coming up?
You know what? I brought it back last year in London, so
Yeah.
I may bring it back again.
Please do, because we
I-
want to be here when you bring it back.
Let's coordinate
Let's
dates.
chat.
Yeah.
And
Our
I
people
will
speak to your people.
Yeah, and we'll work something out. And maybe
Yeah.
you come and
People.
judge. Maybe
I'd
you come and
love that.
judge.
Yeah.
I would love to
competition.
drag,
That would be an
a
honor.
drag competition with zero experience of doing
Yeah.
drag. I'd love that.
As you should be.
As half the guest judges on drag
We'll
races.
see
It's
exactly.
fine.
So yeah.
And if you want to find out about us on social media, you can follow at awkwardprods, awkwardprods.com, etc.
And if you're listening to this when it's coming out, then we are going on tour with the Footprints all over the UK and Ireland. So check our cities.
Amazing.
Check our
Check our
cities.
cities.
Check the website,
Yeah.
Charlie.
Bye!
Thank you. Bye. Bye, Yshee Black.
Bye.